Welcome to a really quick and cursory overview of Neptune's Pride. This is not meant to be a deep delve into any of the more complex game mechanics or any of the game mechanics in general. It's meant to be a quick and dirty video on all the basic things you need to know to play Neptune's Pride. So without further ado, let's kind of get started. First of all, the core of the game is a Risk-style spacefaring civilization colony game. And I know that's a lot of words, it's very complex, but basically just means take over half the stars in your galaxy. So in front of you is this galaxy. This is an 8-person galaxy, and when you first enter a game, you are going to be prompted to pick an alien race. The alien race you select does not matter, so pick whatever race that you think is best in terms of aesthetics. Then you're going to be prompted to pick a name. The name does matter. Pick a name that kind of is anonymous, so a name that people won't likely associate with you, something random or maybe something fun and quirky. And then you're going to pick a color. The color does dictate where you spawn in the galaxy, but usually you will not be able to see where you're spawning. So basically you pick a color and you only get to see the area immediately around you. So in this case, I picked green, and so normally this is all I would be able to see. I would not be able to see anything else other than this. I would not be able to see the red units. I would not be able to see anything else. And I would also not know where my galaxy is in the greater position of things. And so that's kind of for the player to figure out. Now let's move on to basic game mechanics. First things first, let's talk about stats. Your stats do matter in the sense of in the sense of any sort of colonization, space building, base building kind of game. You have 3 main stats that dictate your overall strength. Your economy, which represents how much money you make, and money is used to build more economy, industry, and science, as well as trade with other players, which you can do. Industry represents how many ships you are producing. Industry is a really important statistic for war. If you're trying to colonize more, or you're trying to take over or reinforce borders, industry is incredibly important. And science represents how fast you can research technology. And I will get into technology just a little bit later. So you've just spawned. You're overwhelmed by all of this stuff. What can you do to start? Well, basic rule of thumb is you want to kind of pick up the stars near you. And how do you do that? Well, by using carriers. So everybody starts with 1 carrier on their home planet, and their home planet is always going to be the biggest planet, so the planet with the most resources. And if we view planets, we can view the resources a planet has. More resources is good. You want to pick up planets with resources. Resources dictate how fast you can build up the economy, the industry, and science on a given planet. So you want really high resource planets, in general, at least. So how do I colonize? Let's say this is a really great planet. Wow, it's got 47 resources. That's a lot. How do I colonize it? Well, that's simple. I have a carrier on this planet, and if you don't have a carrier, you can always build them. They cost 25 credits apiece, which there should be a little spaceship sign. If you click on a planet, you click on the spaceship, and it lets you build a carrier. And then you click the little plus sign, which will create its route, and boom. You have now sent this spaceship to this planet. And you can also see how long it takes to get there. The ETA is 8 hours. So it takes about 8 hours for this ship to get to this planet. And so that kind of leads me to my next quick point about the game. It's not meant to be a fast-paced game. Take your time, make proper decisions, and then let the game play itself out, There's not a game that you necessarily need to spend every waking hour hounding over or checking constantly. Just whenever you have some free time, take a look, or whenever the day resets. Every 24 hours, a full day resets. Kind of take a look. All right, now let's talk a little bit about the research. Scanning is going to be really important in most games because it dictates what you can see. If I didn't have any scanning, I would not know that this star was 47 resources, and maybe I would think, screw it, I'm not going to go up, right? I'm just going to go down because I can see this star has some resources. So scanning dictates not only what stars you can see, but also your range that you can see potential diplomatic partners, whether that is allies or enemies. Your hyperspace range dictates how far your ships can travel. So for example, my ship cannot travel from this star to this star because my range is too low. And so increasing range would allow for increased kind of travel distance. It's better for efficient routing because once you have many stars, being able to take straight lines is always going to be more efficient than taking non-hypotenuse style routes. Then terraforming dictates how you can move the resource of a planet up. So, for example, if we look at our home planet, it has a base of 50 resources, but terraforming, because we have terraforming 1, has moved it up by 5. So it realistically has 55 resources. This is very important because once you have more resources on a planet, it is much easier to develop your core stats. Experimentation is a strange technology that lets you basically randomize what technology you're getting. So each level of experimentation will get you more technology in other spaces. It's kind of a crapshoot half the time. Depending on how you want to play, it's kind of RNG heavy, but it is also incredibly powerful because it's a multiplier on your science. Weapons is a pretty simple statistic. It dictates how well your ships fight. So when your ships come in collision with enemy ships, kind of how they fight, how well they fight is weapons. Banking is a multiplier on your economy. So the more banking and economy you have, they multiply with each other to give you the money every 24 hours. And manufacturing is a multiplier on your industry. So the more you have of both, the more ships you make every hour. So this new ships dictates every hour. And that's basically the core of the game. It's a risk-style spacefaring civilization game, and it's kind of up to you how you want to play, whether that means you want to be a warmongering civilization, or whether you want to be a great diplomatic partner creating a massive alliance, which there are for second and third places, which you can do, or you want to be a little hermit in the corner, build your little empire, and just vibe. It's all completely up to you. And that's everything you need to know to get started playing Neptune's Pride.